So I gotta tell you, I am still on this case of these boys and this weed. So much so, I called my brother the other day and I said, hey. He said, what, Bubba? He calls me Bubba. I said, I think everybody in Florida but you and me smokes weed. And there was this long silence. It felt like an hour, but it was probably 10 seconds. And he goes, I got news for you. I said, what's that? He goes, it's just you now. I said, my God, they got you too? Oh my God. Anyway, so Cheryl Jean, she's been worried about little Drewski's stress level. He ain't done nothing. So she tells me the other day, she says, I'm going to take little Drewski on an outing. I'm like, okay. And then I said, well, what are you going to do with the other one? And she says to me, goes, well, he can go with you. I'm like, by God, go with me. So I said, call John and Sarah over at the horse farm and let the other one go there. I'm not doing it. So several hours go by and I'm like, I get home and I'm like, well, Cheryl Jean's not here and she's not cooking, which is a bad sign. Next thing I know, Cheryl Jean, she comes into the house, she's flustered and all red-faced, and we gotta take little Drewski to the doctor. So we do. Now, 2 days go by, and now I've got the call where they went for their day out, which was a koi fish pond. It was a koi fish farm, ponds, whatever, by God. And I called this guy up, I said, and who am I speaking to? And he said, well, Billy John. And I said, well, Billy John, my name is J.J. Johnson, I guarantee, and I want to tell you, we got us a problem. And he said, what's that? I said, do you run that koi fish pond over there in East Kissimmee? He goes, yes, I do. I said, well, I want to tell you, we got us an issue. And he's like, well, what's the issue? I said, well, my wife, Cheryl Jean, and my little nephew, Drewski, was there the other day, and he went dipping skinny in the koi fish pond. And the guy says, what do you mean, dipping skinny? I said, skinny dipping. Don't you understand English? And he was like, I understand. I said, what do you have in those koi fish ponds? You have koi or piranha or a mix thereof? And he goes, no, they're koi fish. I'm like, well, here's the issue. We're going to have a relief on a $213.13 doctor bill. And he says to me, he goes, why do you need a relief on a doctor bill? I said, well, let me tell you what. One of those koi fish piranha swam up and bit little Drewski on the niblet. And he said, what the hell's a niblet? I said, by God, man part, do you need me to slow this down for you? And he chuckled a little bit, and I'm like, it's not funny. I guarantee it. We had to get this boy antibiotics and a tube of ointment to rub on his niblet. But I guarantee, I told him, I said, I think he liked that ointment too much because that tube was gone in a day and a half, I guarantee you. But anyway, I said, so somebody's going to have to cut a check. And he goes, a check? I'm like, yeah, by God. And he's hemming and humming and all this. And I said, look, I tell you, I got to get some relief on this doctor bill. I said, do you have any signs up that says no dipping skinny in the koi fish ponds? And he says to me, why would I do that? I said, by God, ever since we put signs up on the farm that says no water with the hogs, we haven't had a problem. And he said to me, he goes, well, I can't imagine that would be a problem anyway. And I'm like, well, it's not now, by God. And so he's like, hemming and hawing again. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you, come down there and put a whooping on somebody. And he's like, well, come on down. I'm like, well, it's not going to be me. It'll be my wife, Cheryl Jean. And he said, well, you'll send your wife down to do your fights? And I said, she could throw a piano halfway of a football field. I have seen her bench press 2 hogs. I guarantee it. She'll be on you like a honey badger on a beehive. By God. And then he starts lipping a little bit, and I said, let me tell you something, what there, Billy Bob Joe John. I guarantee this. You remind me of a bowling alley that's gone out of business. And he says, how's that? I said, no balls. Guaranteed. I don't think we're getting no relief on this one. I guarantee you.